I can say it because I have the right to say it.
Yes, exactly.
It's difficult, it's dangerous, it's painful to watch. And I think when you work at the community level, that's kind tend to disappear
Yes.
because you're working on the same role, basically. And we all come from different backgrounds, so there is no problem with that. So I will say that's the main thing. And I will say eat chocolate and real chocolate.
I love that. I love that.
No, and it's very important to know where your chocolate comes from and your cacao comes from.
Hi, I'm Raschell Harlingten, and this is the Transformational Soul Talks. Join me as I speak to many people around the globe, and I understand how the empowerment of their story leads to the trajectory of their life. So join me.
This podcast is sponsored by...
Hi, I'm Misty Lee at Campground TBD and my favorite nonprofit, Hayden's Ray. Sometimes we need to fast from society, fast from our relationships, fast from our distractions, fast from the things that are clouding our mind from clarity that may be causing frustration or doubt. Fasting is a beautiful way to do that, and you don't have to give up food unless you want to. At Campground TBD, we offer a safe space in nature for you to come and fast from what you want to, be filled with organic nourishment, body, mind, and soul. Can't wait to see you here at campgroundtbd.com.
Hi, I'm Raschell Harlingten, and this is the Transformational Soul Talks. Now, when we think of transformation, we think of change, whether it's from trauma, whether it's a change in your life. Much like a caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly, once transformation begins and it transforms, there is no going back, and everything changes. My wonderful guest today is a co-founder and executive director of the Darklands Foundation, dedicated to human development among the Ngäbe indigenous communities in Panama's tropical rainforest. With over 30 years of field experience across Latin America and the U.S., she has become a driving force for sustainable and inclusive progress. At the Darklands Foundation, she leads the women's program, creating transformative workshops on domestic violence prevention, women's rights, economic development, work that earned her recognition from the Panama Ministry of Women in 2023. She is also the founder of Citizens of Chocolate, uniting Ngäbe women cacao producers to merge economic growth with rainforest conservation. A former member of Panama's National Cacao Commission, as well as a visionary behind the Bocas Chocolate Fair, celebrating cacao innovation in Panama. Her background includes 12 years of photography career in New York, documenting Latin American communities and ongoing biodiversity through the rainforest chemistry. Now, since 2024, she has served as an honorary consul of France in the Bocas del Toro. Her career reflects an enduring commitment to empowerment, environmental stewardship, and cross-culture collaboration. I want to offer a warm welcome to my wonderful guest today, Mathilde Grand. Welcome.
Thank you, Raschell. You're really lovely to be with you today.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for allowing me to interview you and share your wonderful story of transformation. So I guess my first question is, what was the sort of the stepping point, the initiation to start this, to begin this work here? What was the initiation? What basically gave you the drive to begin this transformative journey for yourself?
Well, first of all, I think the fact that I've always been an immigrant. That was one of the biggest motor in my life. I went from Paris to New York and from New York to Panama. So basically, I always been living outside my country and my culture. And you start seeing things different and you start like having more connection with the idea of being an outsider. And that's also how I started my journey with indigenous study and indigenous people in general. And that was this idea that, especially in the United States, they are outsider, even if it's their own land. Unfortunately, they are outsiders. And that's brought me to Mexico. That's brought me back to United States, because I did documentaries about Mexican crossing the border and starting a new life. So their own journey into transformation as well, how they become basically new people are starting a new life in United States.
Wow, that's a definite journey. But what was the main reason that you chose Panama? I'm curious.
I was actually sent to Panama to work. I did a few photography work for nightclub and also American Congress in Latin America, and they were interested to document the beginning of the Ngäbe comarca, and that's what I went to do. I was more into working in Honduras, in Nicaragua, a little bit of Salvador, and that's how I found Bocas, because of documenting the Ngäbe. And I did not really know their own idea of comarca, how their Panamanian government was working with indigenous people. And that was something that really opened an entire new world for me. And seeing that probably Panama was the only country in all the America that has made the effort to build autonomous territories in such a large scale to different indigenous nation.
I think that's really important, and I really want to touch on that, because I know many countries tend not to really support sometimes their indigenous communities, which is sad. And so Panama has made that effort to support them.
Yes, it's true. And it's a part also of a political legacy that's come from Torrijos, the General Torrijos. That say, it's a very nice thing, but it is also a double-edged
sword. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Here. Because all the comarca, the autonomous territory that have been given to the indigenous nation in Panama, have a condition that they have no access to the natural resources. So that makes it great in some way that they can have their own culture and their own political structure, but they do not benefit from the natural resources of their land. And really live in a world where that's what makes the difference.
So how are they shifting through that? How is that for them? Because they're not allowed to have access to those natural resources.
Well, they worked with the government. We also have seen very recently some political problem between the Ngäbe, for example, indigenous and the government, especially on the hydraulic. A lot, and the Ngäbe and the Teribe were another tribe that lived by the Costa Rican border. Right. They live on a river that's called the Teribe River, where two hydraulic have been already put in place, and it's really changing the structure of the river, and this is changing their way of life. Because basically the Teribe River, it's like it's like an highway for them, and it's drying up. So there is part that it's not accessible anymore for them to get their goods, to change in order, their crops and all that. And that's a little bit the same for the Ngäbe indigenous. They are losing access to some of their and their sweet water as well. We have also a problem with a miner
Yes.
a copper mine that is on their territory. They don't want the copper mine to be reopened, but they don't have the choice because in their Comarca constitution, they don't have the right to the natural resources.
So you're right. It is a double-edged sword.
Exactly, yeah.
And so what is sort of your main place here to really support them? Because I know in your, in the beginning, we talked a little bit about you being consulate for France as well as helping them with the cacao. But what was the reason why you decided to take this lead with them?
Well, so when I first arrived, I did 1 year back and forth with New York, and then I decided to move here. And in moving here, I mean, that was the logical things for me is to work with them.
Yes.
And just partner in some program that could benefit the entire community. And one of the main things that we were all agreed with our Ngäbe partner was that how you economically develop a community in order for them to stay in their land. When I arrived, it was not the boom of tourism in Bocas, but there were enough retirees from United States of Canada coming, being interested in moving to Bocas and buying land.
Right.
And at this time, land was way cheaper
Yes.
than it is now. And then the Ngäbe did not make the calculation that what's going to happen when that little money is going to die,
Yes.
where I'm going, what. And that was the main things that a lot of indigenous here lost their land. And for money, that was probably not the real value of the land. And then ended up, 10 years after with really nothing left. And that's a very uncomfortable thing to live through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost a spoliation of their culture and their environment. And so the Darklands Foundation was also the idea that how economically the indigenous could benefit from the land in order not to sell it.
And that's what Darklands Foundation is about.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is to kind of look
in
at
the preservation also of the rainforest, because it is something that they are the best guardian of the rainforest.
Absolutely.
Most of the foreigner, they tend to cut some of the trees because they want to build a beautiful house, because they are retired and they want to live their life, and it's understandable. They like their manicured garden, and it's not in symbiosis really with the nature around here. So and also how that the idea. Tourism, it's a beautiful thing in a way, and it's economically developed a region, but it should not be the only economic power. Actually, it started, we have a potable water project, but we needed solar panels to run the pumps for the water project. And so we partnered with a group of Ngäbe indigenous women that's called the Solar Mama. Okay. And they had been trained as solar engineer in India, outside New Delhi. Oh, okay. So that's the kind of things we are doing at the Darklands Foundation. So how you sustain an economy for an entire community, or different village, or sometimes also between communities. That's how we work.
Now, is the Panamanian government working with Darklands Foundation to support you as well?
The Panamanian government does work with us on the agriculture. We work with the Ministry of Agriculture on cacao production for the most part, and with the Ministry of Women. because we have a strong program on that benefits Ngäbe one.
And would you say in the time, and I believe we had spoken earlier when we were on the boat, you said about 26 years you've been here, roughly.
Yes.
Would you say that the work that you're doing is transforming a lot of the life here to support them?
It would not be very humble for me to say, of course. I will say that it's a partnership. So we work. We kind of I don't know how to express that, but it's like they give us an opportunity to enter in their life and in their community, and we give them tools. But at the end, the transformation is done entirely by them. Yeah, this is really and we love that work because we work also with their culture. And so basically, they transform us a lot as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very empowering because of what you're doing. You're transforming their lives through them, supporting them, but you're also as well transforming your life as well.
Exactly.
Now, I want to dive a little bit into the Citizens of Chocolate. So since this is your beautiful creation, when did this begin?
It began in 2008, I think, really. And it's meeting different women from different community, and they were all cacao producers.
Right.
And that's a part of the Ngäbe indigenous culture also. Why there are so many cacao producers, because the land is passed from woman to woman.
Oh, okay.
In the Ngäbe culture. It doesn't mean that it's a matriarchal society. You need more of that to be determined as a matriarchal society. But that's how it is. So very often you hear in town guys telling you, my cacao farm. Or you're like, you don't say anything because you want to be polite. It's just, no, it's your wife or your partner cacao farm. So that was the same. That was the idea. First of all, I want to say, because we do a program on domestic violence.
Right.
And I'm not comfortable when people say, there is a lot of domestic violence in indigenous community. I don't think it's especially true. I think there is domestic violence, unfortunately, everywhere. Every social economic level.
I know recently you just finished doing the chocolate fair. I remember we went back and forth talking, and you were like, okay, give me 3 weeks because I'm going to be so busy, Raschell, I'm not going to be able to talk to you. I hear from some people, the local that do live in Bocas, told me that it was amazing. So talk to me a little bit about it. Tell me how it went.
So it started 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. This year was our 7th edition. And it's basically a chocolate fair, cacao and chocolate fair, to try to unite everybody in the industry of cacao and chocolate in the province and also outside. People this year came from Panama City. So we have chocolate maker, we have cacao producer, we had the Department of Agriculture always have, the Ministry of Agriculture always have a table, the presentation. We have the community presenting as well. The ladies from this community was here. They are here. The kids did a traditional Ngäbe dance, El Baile del Sapo. We also have a group of students. They are between 8 and 14, 15 years old. They are mostly Ngäbe kids with a higher intellectual, higher IQ.
Right.
And they are like a mini group of scientists, mini scientists. They receive every year a grant from the Cornell University, for ornithology. So that's what they specialize in. Most of their parents are cacao producers as well, and they are dedicated to migratory birds in the cacao plantation. So they do a presentation. We have a chocolate market.
I bet you do.
Yes. It's chocolate maker and cacao maker as well. Every year we do with the Department of Agriculture and other agro-engineer independent, we do a workshop on grafting. Grafting cacao tree. It's very important to graft a cacao tree. We are the Darklands Foundation. We work with our Ngäbe partner, cacao producer, in trying to restore and preserve the natural genetics of the area in cacao production, which is very important. And you can't do that only if you graft a tree.
So what does that mean exactly?
Well, you take two genetics and you put them together. That's ready for grafting.
Okay.
It's very simple because I don't want to get too technical, but the idea is like you go to your farm and you look at the tree that give the most volume.
Right.
And you're going to graft the new baby trees, the new genetic, and the one that gets a lot of volume. And at the end, you will have the volume of production and the right genetic or the right profile of cacao. That's the
in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. This year was cacao production and the cycle of water. So through this exhibition, everybody can come and it's accessible, it's easy, it's interactive, and it's in both languages. So it can bring the community together around the theme of cacao. I love it.
Well, next year I'm definitely going to come.
I hope so.
Yes.
And this man as well.
Yes. We definitely will be there. So this has been very transformative for your life, for where you started as a photographer, where you moved to where you are now. If you could go back to your 18-year-old self, would you change anything?
No.
So if there was a message or something you'd like to share with whoever's watching or listening to this podcast, what would you say to them?
Oh, I will say that, first of all, I mean, we need to go back to the community. It's a very essential work we all need to do. That you live in big city. I have lived a big part of my life in big city, but we need to reclaim the sense of community. That it's something that it's very profound in developing yourself, but also developing, helping to develop the people around you. I mean, when I talk about like going to the sense of community, it's not always, because I think people always think about commune or living all together in the same place. So I don't see it like that. But I think we should all be able to know the environment we are living in, and somehow you need to interact with that environment.
Where does she see her community going? Where does she see it moving with all of the changes that are happening within Bocas and Panama?
Ella quiere saber cómo tú ves tu comunidad, cómo se está desarrollando tu comunidad, cómo tú la ves en el futuro, son todos los cambios que está pasando en Bocas.
De aquí, bueno, antes no veía el futuro, pero ahora sí veo el futuro porque quizás no había un parte de la economía y bueno, ahora no, hay mucha oportunidad para poder tener algo de la comunidad para llevar el progreso para la comunidad, tanto los niños, también que tienen progreso, porque antes no se veía eso, ahora sí, porque los niños salen y se van por fuera a estudiar, a trabajar también cuando ya llegan a lograr su estudio. Para mí es mucho mejor que hay ahora, antes que ahora en el futuro.